Dude, I just recorded like 15 minutes and it wasn't f***ing recording. Ah! Bro, I'm so mad. Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. Thanks for watching. If you're new here, and you probably are because this is my second video, my goal here is to create a little community where people feel safe and comfortable to discuss anything cool and creepy and spooky and fucking weird and fun. It's all about fun. We're trying to have fun here. Let's jump into it.
What's your favorite scary movie?
Talking about Scream, baby.
You're gonna love this one. It's a Scream, baby.
This movie is iconic. And it's not just iconic because of Ghostface. If you didn't know, our mood here always is just chilling, killing.
What you doing, son? Nothing. Just chilling, killing.
This movie is not only iconic because of Ghostface, it's iconic because what it did was basically revive the entire genre of horror. You heard that right. The horror community as we know it owes Scream a very big thank you. Scream came out in 1996, was directed by Wes Craven. Wes Craven also did Nightmare on Elm Street. He did a few other smaller horror movies, not smaller, Hills Have Eyes. He did Last House on the Left. Scream kind of was his like kick back into like, all right, I'm gonna make something that's super meta, knows what it is, has some black humor, and basically shits on horror cliches and tropes all together, and I love that. Scream follows our main character, Sidney Prescott. Sidney has just come back from this extremely traumatizing experience. She lost her mom and she's still trying to bounce back into regular society. She has her best friend, Tatum. She has her boyfriend, Billy. If we're jumping right into it, are pretty shitty friends. They're pretty shitty friends. And she doesn't really have a good support system around her.
I am sorry if my traumatized life has inconvenienced you and your perfect existence.
However, Sydney's trauma revs back up whenever she becomes the target of Ghostface.
Is that the Grim Reaper?
Now, let's talk about the opening scene. This opening scene is bananas. It is one of the most iconic opening scenes in horror, in pop culture. It's instantly recognizable. And I love it because not only does it have some of the most iconic lines, it's terrifying. The reason why I love this scene is because it has one of the scariest lines that I've ever encountered in a horror movie personally.
You never told me your name.
Why do you want to know my name?
I want to know who I'm looking at.
You gotta be fucking kidding me.
That is one of the scariest lines I've ever heard in a horror movie. It is so applicable to real life. I'm staring out of a big ass window right now. I could get a phone call. I want to know who I'm looking at.
Nope.
Really get to see aspects of Ghostface's personality come through. This dude's goofy. He's a teenager. He gets off on horror movie trivia. His brain's not fully developed. He's a psychopath. But you can see the faults that they wrote into this character to make it seem more realistic. Because no killer's gonna be like unstoppable like Michael Myers. In real life, they're just not. That's what makes this opening sequence so scary, is because even though you can fight the killer off, you can kick him off, you can punch him, you can make him fall down, at the end of the day, sometimes they're gonna catch you. Moving on, after this sequence, you jump to Sidney Prescott and all of her friends at school, and they just got the news that Casey and her boyfriend, Steve, were murdered. Now, this is one of the points that I wanted to talk about a little bit. So when I first watched this movie, I was confused as fuck as to what her mom's role and who Cotton was and why everyone was calling her mom a whore like this. Like, I feel like they could have done a little bit of a better job introducing that storyline to the audience, because they just kind of throw it in there, or like you hear it on a news broadcast or something, and it's
Only a year ago, Maureen Prescott, wife and mother, was found raped and murdered not far from this peaceful town square.
And it's like the anniversary of her mom's death, and they think this man Cotton did it, and Sidney testified against him. It just flies under the radar, and you're supposed to know everything about it. At the end of the day, the killer's reason in targeting Sidney is important to that storyline, and it just needs to be explained a little bit better, or just a little bit deeper. Let's talk about Sidney. When I was younger, and when I didn't understand that being a strong female was badass, I thought Sidney was a bitch. I thought that she was annoying and that she was just mad at the world. And now that I understand that everyone, you know, basically like makes her life a living hell because of her mother, I get why she's a bitch. It does not take any shit from Ghostface. They basically inserted this woman character to make fun of
Some big-breasted girl who can't act, who's always running up the stairs when she should be going out the front door. It's insulting.
she's a beast. Her punching Gale Weathers is like something that always is on repeat in the back of my mind.
I'll send you a copy.
Neve Campbell, you did a fantastic job bringing this role to life because she's one of my favorite characters of all time. Thank you. So after Sidney starts having these run-ins with Ghostface and it's become obvious that he's targeting her, the blame kind of starts to circulate around her boyfriend, Billy Loomis. Just a quick side note, if we're supposed to be helping younger girls not romanticize serial killers, please stop making them so fucking attractive. Oh my god. Because it's creepy and it's gross and I feel grody. That scene of him like...
Jesus Christ.
You know what I'm talking about? Billy is a terrible boyfriend. He pressures Sidney into having sex or to do sexual things after her mother was found and murdered, and then basically told her to get over it a year later. It's been a year. Okay, and it's been a year, give me 10 more, like, what? Ugh. Let's move on to my second favorite character after Sidney, and that is Stu. Can we just like have a round of applause for Matthew Lillard? Like, he is a fucking mastermind. This man embodies every single character that he plays. Like, are you kidding? Something that works in his brain is just like different than everybody else's. He does not get enough credit for this movie. He carries this movie. The ending scene.
Hello?
Oh, Stu. What's your motive? Billy's got one. The police are on their way. What are you gonna tell them?
Peer pressure. I'm far too sensitive.
You'll remember it for the rest of your life, and that's because of Matthew Lillard. Nobody else could have played that role. You cannot argue with me over that. Tatum, Sidney's best friend, shitty best friend, every friend in this movie, except for maybe Randy, the movie buff. Everyone else sucks. Tatum is annoying.
However,
That garage scene kill where she's like crawling through the doggy door, 10 out of 10. 10 out of 10 for that creativity. It's iconic. I love it. Also, Gale Weathers, Courtney Cox. Amazing. I love it. Great. She is fantastic in this movie. David Arquette, Deputy Dewey. He is the most non-reassuring presence in a movie I've seen like ever. Deputy Dewey was supposed to be hunky, and then they found David Arquette and he put like this like dorky spin on it. Why would you put this old twerp guarding a potential murder victim? Someone's out there actively hunting her and like, oh, give her to Deputy Dewey, he'll do it, while eating his strawberry ice cream cone. Like, that makes sense.
Chocolate vanilla swirl with cookie crunch, please.
Did you know the original title of this movie was Scary Movie? That's what this movie was called up until post-production, when the producers decided, no, we don't like this. We're going to call it Scream. This was so late, they had merch already printed off with Scary Movie on it. They had to change it to Scream. Little fact, it appeals to everybody. You can appreciate the humor, you can appreciate the acting, the fact that they did have some big name actors in here. just made the movie. If they didn't have them, then I feel like it wouldn't have the same presence, which it really needed to just gain traction, because it's a horror comedy and a lot of people can't pull that off, or it's not going to be successful, or it's just going to come across as stupid. Like some of these jokes, if David Arquette wasn't doing it, or if Matthew Lillard wasn't in this movie, it'd just be awful.
My mom and dad are gonna be
So that's why it's so masterful, the decisions that they made, and the way that it turned out, and the way that, you know, it has its place in pop culture history, horror history. There need to be more horror movies like this. There probably won't be for a while. I think if you're starting off, watch this movie. It's a great teaser because it's not too terribly dark. There's some great kills. There is some gore, but it's funny. It knows what it is, and it's one of my favorite movies of all time. Check it out. You won't be disappointed. And join me next time to see what we talk about. Stay creepy, my friends. Ghost, what's your favorite scary movie? What was that? Tanner, what's your favorite scary movie?
Halloween Town.
They ask you how you are, you just have to say that you're fine.